Hello everybody. This is Briefcase bringing you another Ancient Trials game, this time between McRoberts High and DnB. So far, right off the bat, you have McRoberts High. They are the practice slum, as said by this lobby. Don't know why it's that. No problem, however. McRoberts High, I know that's them. It's gonna be fine. Right off the bat, they are banning Elder Titan as well as Nag a Siren. Of course, both of those heroes very strong at setting up big combos. You have that Echo Stomp from Elder Titan, and I think McRoberts are more or less just don't want to fight Elder Titan nowadays. Although, you know what? He was nerfed. He's no longer the unstoppable mid hero that can bottle crow all day long, as he was in the past, of course, and that bottle crowing has been nerfed, and that Elder Titan has been directly nerfed as well. But of course, Nag a Siren still a very strong pickup, and realizing that they have the first pick, letting Lich go all the way through, making sure that DnB would have to ban him out if they wanted to. And they have not, though, so now McRoberts High has picked up a Lich, and that is a very nice pickup for them indeed. One of the strongest supports in the game right now. A lot of people don't quite know how to deal with him. Not only that, Sacrifice, of course, gives you so much momentum in your lane, so much denied experience, as well as a lot of extra experience going your way as well. It just makes things a lot easier for you. You can make a little bit of a mistake in your lane, you can make a few mistakes, and nothing's the matter, and overall it can work out quite nicely for you. However, you do have DnB picking up a Darkseer, might be looking for some sort of a big combo going on. Of course, Darkseer's Vacuum, amazingly strong if with coordination is being used by your team. It combined with pretty much any other AoE is magnificent, and now picking up a Magnus, it looks like indeed they do want to go for maybe a large team fight wombo combo type of team. But of course, just with Lich being there, throwing out a Chain Frost, it's going to put a little bit of a wrench in their plans, and Nag a Siren not available to set up those big ults and big spells as well. Nonetheless, does open up the field a little bit, but kind of telegraphing almost exactly what they want to do to McRoberts High, and I think McRoberts High will more likely than not ban out heroes in response to that. You know, something along the lines of you could get out a Jakiro mixed with Magnus and Darkseer, very strong, of course, with that RP, or Vacuum, Macropyre as well. You might want to get out, who is somebody else who has an amazing AoE? Venomancer, nah, maybe, but now they have banned out the Jakiro, not wanting to give that Jakiro Darkseer combo away. Sven, of course, is still a possibility, but with Magnus using Empower, pretty much anybody becomes a Sven, especially somebody like a PA. So, of course, a very strong carry there if they wanted to run him. McRoberts High has picked up a Viper of their own, a pretty strong mid hero nowadays. Not a lot of people can actually go toe for toe with him because of that early corrosive skin, especially somebody like a Queen of Pain shuts him down. You throw down a Shadow Strike on Viper, and every tick of damage just does more to you because of corrosive skin, does less to him because of the innate magic resistance of that as well. So a pretty hard hero to take down nowadays, and can command a lot of lane presence, can be very aggressive early on as well. DnB now, they have banned out, I haven't mentioned this yet, has banned out OD, very strong mid hero, not run too much nowadays, is countered by quite a few heroes. Puck as well. Now has banned out a Visage, realizing that Practice Slum, also known as McRoberts High, may want another dedicated support, and Visage is, of course, one of the strongest of those. But now it looks like McRoberts High has banned out a Gyrocopter, just trying to limit the AoE potential of DnB, and it really looks like they've already telegraphed exactly what they want to do here. Of course, you have the Darkseer, you have Magnus, and it looks like they just want to open up and get as many AoE heroes as humanly possible. Of course, Shadow Fiend's ult, what is it called? No, what is it? Requiem of Souls, of course. Requiem of Souls, one of the strongest AoE spells in the entire game, especially if you can have a big setup with Darkseer or Magnus. Now, they have banned out Drow Ranger of all things, slightly understandably, I suppose, realizing that there are already two ranged heroes on the field with Viper and Lich. Getting that Drow Ranger, really upping everybody's damage with True Shot Aura. Is it still called True Shot Aura? Not sure. With True Shot Aura can be a huge problem to go up against. I saw it in one of the other Ancient Trials games, an all AO, or I should say an all-range team, and just had a drow, and it just locked everything in place, made everybody basically get by the 10-minute, 12-minute, 15-minute mark, not too sure. Made sure everybody had as much plus damage from True Shot Aura as they would from getting a Demon Edge. So it was really, really helpful for their team. Now an Enigma being picked up by DnB, just going for all the AoEs they possibly can, but at the moment they're going to have a very weak laning phase, a very weak mid-game. I should say, I suspect a very weak mid-game, and especially now it looks like if McRoberts can set up some nice ganks, can set up some nice EXP denial, little experience denial, then, and especially gold denial, if DnB can't get a load of Blink Daggers under their belt, if Magnus can't get one, if Shadow Fiend can't get one, Enigma as well, if they can't get any, this could just be curtains for them. They really do need at least one of those ults to set everything up, and they don't have it available to them at the moment. And Nyx Assassin is a perfect hero to pick up by McRoberts High. Can go into the jungle, can counter Enigma a little bit, can be very annoying, runs in, throws down the spiked carapace. So that's basically going to put Kibosh on Enigma's ult if he ever wants to, and that is a nice pickup by McRoberts High in the meantime, not to mention his ability to mana burn. And once again, DnB going for that huge amount of AoE, picks up a Sven, can work amazingly well with all of these AoE ults. Of course, his stun, one of the best, not to mention he has that great cleave available, and now Rubik coming out, and I think the perfect support coming out by McRoberts High. Rubik, there are so many amazing ults to steal here. You have Magnus, you have Darkseer's ult, which is incredible as well, you have Shadow Fiends, you have everybody's. So now, if we look into who is playing who, we have Twilight Sparkle as the Sven, Driz is going to be playing the Shadow Fiend, the Zombie Christ will be played by Enigma High. Going to be going the Magnus, and the Mangler as the Darkseer. However, down here on McRoberts High, we have Slum of the Earth is going to be going, I suspect, mid. Viper Shazam as the Rubik. Lari is going to be the Lifestealer going bottom with Rumpelstiltskin, I suspect. Rumpelstiltskin the Lich, of course, and Slumsational playing as the Nyx Assassin, all on his lonesome, possibly up top. Interesting to see. Rumpelstiltskin looks like he is just going to join up with Slum of the Earth going mid, more likely than not, just going to sacrifice the first creep he possibly can, just to give this Viper even more of a little bit of an edge. And of course, every creep you deny from a Shadow Fiend hurts him so much. He really does need to get pretty much every last hit possible for himself. Looks like Lari just scouting around the rune just a little bit, seeing if there's any amount of funny business going on here. Shazam is there as well. Just seeing to see if anybody does ward. They might have actually scouted that out. Shazam, though, does have sentry wards available, and I like this actually quite a bit. They know it's there, playing this very, very nicely here. Are not even actually going to de-ward at the moment. It's a free 50 gold. It wouldn't be too bad if they did it, I must say. Nonetheless, we have this incredibly aggressive tri-lane up here. Enigma actually has demonic conversion, so he is going to be going into the jungle high with the shockwave. You have Twilight Sparkle with his Stormhammer as well, but a Sven, Magnus, and Enigma, as soon as they all hit level 2, that could be incredibly scary to lane against. Now it looks like Rumpelstiltskin throwing out a nice aggressive ward, just trying to get as much vision of Driz as humanly possible. It's going to make Slum of the Earth all that much stronger, throwing down some nice poison attacks up onto the high ground for him. And it looks like Ion Shells being thrown down by the Mangler on bot, and if you can do this, if you can basically deny most of these creeps from Darkseer, delay that Soul Ring as long as humanly possible, you can make things very difficult for Darkseer in this lane. And that's really going to be what Shazam as well as Lari want to try to be doing in this lane, is just denying as many creeps as they possibly can from the Mangler. They don't want him to Ion Shell stuff. They just need to deny these creeps especially. Make sure he doesn't get that early Soul Ring, which of course will make things life quite a bit harder for Lifestealer. Of course, Lifestealer, one of the better carries, one of the better melee heroes to deal with Ion Shell harass, but even then, having to throw out of rage every once in a while. That eats into your mana quite a bit, eats into your killing potential. You won't have enough mana then to open wounds whenever you can. And of course, Feast has not been picked up yet. Actually has the open wounds, and that's going to make things at least a little bit nicer for him. Now the Mangler just checking things out. He's clearly dewarded this. Shazam is prepared though with these sentry wards, and he's got to realize that this has been dewarded now. He's not even trying to pull through at the moment, so it's not really the end of the world. You might want to play a little bit more aggressive here, try and get the Mangler out, but of course Rubik will fall to a Darkseer who knows what he's doing, has an Ion Shell on him, and they know that this is a ward right here, and they should be going for this D ward, put him right around here, see what can be seen. And we'll see how this goes. Puts down a ward. Not sure if that blocks the camp. That actually might. In my experience, this line is kind of the safe line to where you want to put it, so we'll see exactly if that blocks the camp or not, nonetheless. We look in the mid, it looks like Viper is indeed winning this mid, not two-handedly, however. He does have the 3 last hits, 3 denies, 10 last hits, which means that Drizz, this Shadow Fiend, is not getting the amount of last hits that he really wants. Means he's losing out in the souls, and now he just can't contend with Viper, with the harass he can throw out. And he needs to be very careful here. One more poison attack, and that's going to be pretty much a dead Drizz. He has picked up his bottle, however, meaning he can Shadow Raise now to get those last hits, make his life at least a little bit easier. And he is going to be going down here, getting this invisibility rune for himself. Means that, I mean, that's not going to be a gank. He doesn't even need it. It just means he's going to go up to full HP. Actually doesn't use his bottle to get up to full HP. A little bit of a misplay there by Drizz. Not sure how I feel about that. Always has now bottle available to him if things get a little hairy from Slumotherus, so he does have that available. And if we look at the top, it looks like Slumsational actually doing pretty well in the last hits. Not sure how I feel about this. You have Twilight Sparkle as well as DnB, a Magnus and a Sven getting completely outplayed in the top lane by simply one Lich and a Nyx Assassin. Of course, you do have that Impale as well as constant Frost Blast available. But I mean, with Enigma here possibly backing you up when he can, you do not want to see this happening, especially when you know that Sven is their only hard carry. You have Drizz here, he's not getting the last hits or the souls that he really wants. He's having kind of a hard time actually against this Viper mid. Now we have the Mangler. It looks like he has spent some of his gold. Not sure what on. Does he have a Soul Ring coming to him? No, he does not, actually. Actually only has a Clarity. And if we look at his last hits, he's actually only at 8 last hits. He's either getting zoned out magnificently or things are getting denied very, very well. And I think with only 4 denies on this Lifestealer, only 2 on this Rubik, he's more likely than not just getting completely zoned out here. Now Slumotherus is going, and he's going to pick up this nice haste rune for him. Does not have a bottle, however, but just getting the deny on Drizz, and with that, we'll be able to actually harass Drizz down quite nicely. He always will have that invisibility under his belt to pop if things get a little bit out of hand for him. So he shouldn't fall to this, if at all, but Slumotherus should be able quite nicely here to just harass a little bit down, and now it looks like Rumpelstiltskin as well as Slumsational trying to make something happen on Twilight Sparkle, and he doesn't have any backup here at all. Magnus is there. Slumsational getting some nice body blocks in there. Will it be enough? Frost Blast just on cooldown, off cooldown. Very, very nice. DnB high now, running away. He's trying to get this. There is no skewer available for him, though, so low on mana at the moment. And the Zombie Christ still does not have a Soul Ring, doesn't have any way to actually deal. And now a Clarity being canceled on high. That is a nice amount of regen to stop there. Now the Mangler is being thrown down. He still has Surge, so he will not fall here. Opting not to use it. He really doesn't want to use it. Now he does indeed, guaranteeing that he gets one more Fade Bolt to the back. But he is going to get out of this scot-free. And if we look at this mid, Slumotherus is just decimating this lane. Twice the number of last hits, 7 denies, 25 last hits. Looking now at this Lifestealer on the bottom. He is not being denied whatsoever. He has had almost complete free farm here. And now it looks like Slumotherus picking up a solo kill on this Shadow Fiend, not even getting ganked in the mid, and this is not what you want to see happen when you're playing Shadow Fiend, when you send a Shadow Fiend mid. It now looks like Magnus in a little bit of trouble as well, and at the moment, now Twilight Sparkle, in fact, getting in a little bit of trouble as well, popping that Spiked Carapace, going all the damage for himself, only level 2, however, so not the end of the world nonetheless. It was pure damage. But now, like I was saying, you have Shadow Fiend here, Drizz with only 9 souls in his pocket. He can't do much with this. He is going to pick up a nice invisibility rune, might be able to make something happen on the bot. More likely than not, More likely than not going to happen, however, because of Larry, of course, does always have that rage available. The Shadow Raises, which is the main source of your damage early on, not going to be doing too much. And now Driz getting at least a few more last hits here. Slum Earth just pulling this easy camp for himself, getting a little bit of free gold here for himself now as well. It looks like Slumsational and as well. Now throwing out a stun on Twilight Sparkle, just trying to get a little bit of damage, but they already do have an Arcane Boots. He does always want to use this Spike Carapace and does indeed use it nicely just to make sure he does not get maledicted, does not get stunned to high health. And if we're looking at this right now, this Enigma, it is 7 minutes. He is still only level 2. It doesn't seem like the Zombie Christ really knows how to jungle as Enigma at this moment. And now you have Rumpelstiltskin controlling these runes as best he can, going in, throwing down that aggressive ward just to replace the one that was already used up, making sure Slum of the Earth has complete and utter control in this mid lane. Might want to look for a little bit of regen, however. Is sitting fairly low in HP, looking at 550 at the moment. I know it's only level 2 Shadow Raises, will still be enough, however. And now it looks like a Chain Frost going down. Not a lovely bounce for him, however. High will get out of this one alive. Slumsational is here, but it looks like the Zombie Christ, he can't do much. He only has Demonic Conversion level 2. It doesn't even have a Soul Ring at the moment. No, he does not, but it does indeed look like that's maybe what he was going to be going for, and instead made a Ring of Basilius. And overall, it just looks like DnB, if we look at this gold graph, it's only 8 minutes in, and it's already a 5,000 gold lead for McRoberts High. If we look at the experience lead, it's about 7,000 experience lead for McRoberts High. And if we look at that at the moment, I mean, if you think about that, that is ridiculous this early on. It now looks like Rumpelstiltskin trying to set up a little bit of a gank in the mid. Slum of the Earth, of course, does have ult available. He's got one poison attack available to him as well, and looks like he's gonna pick up a free regen here, guaranteeing him that this gank, if they do go for it, as soon as Driz gets back here and as soon as Slum of the Earth gets back here, that this is gonna be a guaranteed dead Shadow Fiend. He only has 19 souls. Not sure why he's leveling this up, and now there's no way he's getting out of this one. An ult, a Frost Blast. That's going to be the end of him. And now a nice kill there by McRoberts High. Slum of the Earth playing very nicely for himself. If we look at the last hits, I mean, yeah, you have the two supports. Lich is sitting at 6 last hits, Rubik only at 7, but it really comes down to these 3 core heroes I suppose they have here. Slumsational sitting at 31. He's actually beating the Sven, who has been taken care of, who has been babysat in lane all game. Rumpelstiltskin needs to be very careful here. Slumsational throwing out a stun. It's not going to be enough. High DnB cannot get there in time to get a nice skewer going back, and it doesn't look like a Malefice was thrown down. And no Sven stun as well. Now it looks like Slum is trying to make something happen on Driz. He does not actually have ult available. The Mangler is going to be running in here, throwing down an Ion Shell. It dies immediately. Poor choice of creep there for him. Now it looks like they might be trying to make something happen with these Eidolons. Can they get out in time? They don't actually know that Slumsational is here. He still has Vendetta available. Rumpelstiltskin, no Chain Frost available yet. No Skewer going into this, however. That might have actually been enough to kill him. And now things going for McRoberts High here, turning the tide. Slum of the Earth does run in. His ult will be up in about 2 seconds. There is no chance of an Enigma ult. High is not hit level 6 as well. Can they get 2? They do. No 3, however. It does indeed look like High will be getting out of this one alive. But overall, 7-0 so far. If we look at this gold graph, up to about 7,500 now, I suspect by the end of it. 8,000 now, experience difference. Things are not going well for DnB, just getting outplayed. Now Slum of the Earth trying to be very cautious here. He has picked up actually a point booster, meaning that if anything, he's going to be going for that Aghanims for himself, making it so he can just throw out Viper Strikes all day long. I believe the cooldown becomes something like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I don't think it's 0 cooldown, but nonetheless, the Zombie Christ, and this is happening exactly how I said it would. They're having an incredibly rough early game. They don't have any of their ults. Shadow Fiend has only hit level 8 now. He's got pretty much no souls, so Requiem of Souls won't even hit for that much. And you have Sven has not hit level 6. High has not level 6, and you really need, this is a team of altars when it comes right down to it. And Rubik, I mean, Shazam, he's only level 5. He hasn't quite hit 6 yet now. Now trying to bait something out on Slumpstational and Rumpelstiltskin. This should be Rumpelstiltskin's death here, however. Sven just needs to get one Stormbolt. Can Driz land these? He doesn't need to get one. There's a Chain Frost, however. Not any good bounces at the moment. It's doing quite a bit of damage to the Mangler. He needs to get out of there. Not sure why he's staying. And oh, barely makes it out of there with their life. One more bounce might have been the end for him there. The Zombie Christ wants to make something happen, but it's not going to happen. Slumpstational now. He does have Spike Carapace available. He might be able to still get out of this, honestly. Pops it just to make sure that Twilight does. All of them stunning themselves, giving up a free kill to Slumpstational, making sure that he is just going to stun himself. Shazam should be able to block him here as long as Twilight Sparkles is not going in. And this is a nice sacrifice by Shazam. He's going to fall here. But that's a-okay. Twilight Sparkle, no more mana to protect himself here. And now, will the Zombie Christ fall as well? I don't see him getting out of this one. Malphite is there as well. But now Frost Blast being used just to guarantee it. And sitting at 10-2. McRoberts High comes off to an incredibly strong lead. Gets 8,000 difference in gold. About 12,000 difference in experience for themselves. Every single one of them having more kills. Last hit's doing very, very nicely, and this just goes to show you how poorly DnB are playing at the moment, trying to get their Sven as many last hits as possible. He's sitting at 8 last hits. The Rubik is sitting at 12, and I mean, if that does not tell you anything about the game, I'm not sure what will. The Rubik does, of course, have slightly less gold than the Sven, but nonetheless, 3 of the main, or I should say 4 heroes on McRoberts High having more farm than the entire team of DnB. And now that is almost going to be a free Mangler. It is indeed. No backup there by Twilight Sparkle. Can't do anything. He only just got brown boots now. So, I mean, McRoberts High just finding every pick off they possibly can. Not only that, DnB going into situations that they really shouldn't be. They're going in, overextending a smidge as well, trying to defend towers that are already lost. There is no Trent protector on their team. They are not protecting these towers. There's nothing they can do. And now, with that, looks like Rumpelstiltskin actually picking up a phase boots. He doesn't need the mana. He just wants the movement speed, guaranteeing that he can land as many Frost Blasts as humanly possible. Of course, if we look at the levels, Nigma still not level 6. He really does need that at the moment. However, the 4 other heroes on DnB have hit level 6. They have their ults available, and this is basically when you need to start pushing in. Give them a mech. Give them a mech. See what they can do, maybe. They don't have a mech at the moment, but with these heroes, I mean, they really do need to start setting up some big team fights, some huge pushes here, and just trying to take out every single person with a massive wombo combo. It looks like Driz trying to farm up as many souls as he possibly can, however, on this bottom lane. Still only sitting at 23. That can, of course, be up to 36 souls, giving him a total of, what, 72 damage. And I don't think this Shadow Fiend has had max souls all game long, so he is having a terrible game for himself. And now DnB, I've seen them do this before, and I think every other game I've ever seen them play in this tournament is they just group up as 5, but of course this just makes all the room possible for Larry to farm up. He actually hasn't been in a single team fight this whole game so far, and yet he is just doing fine. He's never had to deal with anything, and now no detection coming out by DnB. Slumpstational gonna have a field day here. High is gonna fall. There's no way he's getting out of this one. Might be able to actually skewer away there, but getting perma locked down there the entire time. And of course, Lifestealer has picked up a Hand of Midas. He has his armlet. He can actually fight now with that armlet. It makes things so that he can actually fight in the mid game very nicely. Gives him a huge amount of damage and survivability that he otherwise wouldn't have had if he goes for an even later game of item. But now looks like McRoberts High realizing that they have this massive advantage in both gold, 14,000 difference, 14,000 difference in experience as well. Realizing they have this obscenely huge advantage over DnB, it looks like they, you know what? They just decided, you know what? We have this. We can just go kill them. Now Chain Frost going down, not doing too much work there. Only a couple bounces. High does land a perfect ult there, but it's not going to be enough. Still can't even kill Shazam. There's that mech on Lich. 3 for nothing at the moment. And it looks like Shazam's going to get out of here with his life, and that's going to be another free tower here. Rumpelstiltskin getting that nice amount of ice armor for himself, and there's the GG sitting at 16 minutes. Shazam even had reverse polarity stolen as well, so 16-minute GG going towards McRoberts High. So a very nice game for them, and we'll see you in about 15 or so minutes for the next game. This has been Briefcase, bringing you another Ancient Trials game.